Today we're going to talk about the release of the 2021 Top 24/7 100 and what to expect from Oklahoma's defense at the spring game, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time today. Yes, we have another longer video because we have a lot that we want to discuss and a lot that we're going to get through. Notably, the release of the top 24/7 100, including all of the 2021 recruits that you should know. And of course, I'm going to highlight the ones that you should know from an Oklahoma vantage, and we're going to get started quick. We're going to try to run through these so you know the names, you know who you're looking at, and you know who to look forward to going forward over the next year as Oklahoma continues through the 2020 cycle. I know that there's some people out there that believe, hey, we're looking at 2021, we haven't even closed down 2020. Yeah, well, that's kind of the business of recruiting. By looking at what you offer in 2021, you can also see what they want to get in 2020, and you continue to do all the math that is so much fun in recruiting. And if you're not a big recruiting fan, it's still cool to know about these things and know about these players as they continue to not only go to Oklahoma, but other places as well, because we all know that recruiting is never really done, even when they get to campus, because the transfer portal is alive, and it's going to be alive for a very long time. So let's start with the first guy, and we're going to go in numerical order as it appears on the top 24/7 100 with number 5, edge rusher Quentin Somerville, 6'3", 230 out of Saguaro. See, I said it correctly. Now, this is a big deal because the 2020 class is loaded over there. Jacoby Covington at corner, of course, Keely Ringo at corner, and then Damian Sellers at linebacker. But it's really great that Oklahoma is in on not just a top 10, but a top 5 recruit in the 2021 class already. Dude's a huge OU fan, grew up an OU fan. That is working well for Oklahoma. Now put together a pretty good defense in 2019, and I think you could pretty much continue to expect good things to happen when Quentin Somerville's name is mentioned, among others, with Oklahoma in 2021. At number 8, we're going to talk about J.C. Lantham. J.C. is 6'5.5". He's 250 pounds. He's out at IMG Academy. We know that what IMG Academy does well is put players into Division I programs. Buki came from IMG Academy. TJ Pledger came from IMG Academy. Noah Kane of Penn State, he's from IMG Academy. We can keep going about how good IMG Academy is. I mean, I think EJ and Domagogar did even just like a semester there. He's coming to Oklahoma as a signee. So if you can get that pipeline to continue to pay dividends, it's a really good thing. He is number 8 in the top 24/7 100. And then at inside linebacker, that'd be the Mike Will spot, Kendrick Blackshire, number 23. 6'2", 245 out of Mesquite Horn. This dude is on the all off the bus team. Like, seriously, the best looking cat that I've seen since Kenneth Murray Jr. got to Oklahoma. Before that, Samaj A.P. Ryan. He's the kind of guy that you just want to get him on your football team on the field and let him seeking out whom he may devour. And he's got the brain and the mindset to be a pretty good Mike linebacker. That's a guy to continue to keep your eye on. Oklahoma's been in on him for, it feels like, 2 years now, and we're still going to wait till the 2021 class to see how everything shakes out. At number 25 is Ruben Fothery. This guy made waves over the weekend with his visit. He took pictures with guys like Kyler Murray, who, you know, for some people still a midget, for other people is 5'10". And you know what? The NFL says he's 5'10". But then Orlando Brown was on campus. And Orlando Brown is an enormous human being. We all know this. Orlando Brown was also 2-3 inches shorter than Ruben Fothery, who is a power forward in basketball, so you know he has feet and hands. And the dude absolutely looks the part as a sophomore in high school. I'm going to be really interested to see what his development looks like. He went down to a opening regional, expected to get dominated, did some dominating of his own. That's always a really cool story to see. Really going to watch his recruitment closely. He's at number 25 in the top 100 for the 24/7 website, which, you know, I'm affiliated, I work for. You know that. Otherwise, what are you doing here? And then at number 29, right, offensive guard Bryce Foster, 6'4", 4.5", 318 pounds out of Katy Taylor. A guy that Oklahoma likes, a guy that likes Oklahoma. Expect good things to be heard about him here, actually, maybe recently. Not recently. In the very near future. Goodness grief. Me and words today, man. I think it's because it's Tuesday, and I was doing a lot of speaking yesterday, So I was in Stillwater because we had a distinguished speaker. Speecher? What is a speecher? Look, I was in Stillwater yesterday because we had a distinguished speaker. His name is Ira Sukarungrung. I am a PhD student in English with an emphasis on creative nonfiction. I wrote this book. It's called Let It Bang. My mentor and my teacher asked me to introduce Ira, so I was there all day just chopping it up about creative nonfiction, memoir, how to write, the skill of writing, thing I'm really, really passionate about, and thing I really am actually pretty good at, depending on who you talk to. So I got to introduce him during the Final Four. Got home to watch the end of the Final Four, which was outstanding and amazing. And now I'm back on topic with number 56, Ethan Downs, another edge rusher. There's like 1, 2, 3 edge rushers Oklahoma is in the top 24/7 100. And Ethan Downs is out of Weatherford, Oklahoma. It's the kind of guy that OU should really close. He's an OK prep. He likes Oklahoma. He's an OU fan. Brandon Drum is really high on this guy and his upside. And he apparently goes down to the opening regional and tears it up and ends up with a 56 ranking. He could continue to move up depending on how well he performs at the opening final in the future. I mean, look, I look at Ethan Downs and I say, Dan Cody? Maybe? You'll see. We'll wait and see, but that feels like his upside right now. And then, finally, at number 89, QB Brock Vandagriff. Now, Vandagriff got his offer on January 29th. He's the only offer for the 2021 class. I don't necessarily know that you're in a hurry to close on your 2021 quarterback because, well, you don't have a 2020 quarterback, which feels bonkers. Now, I'm not going to get upset and overdone about Lincoln Riley not having landed a 2020 quarterback that he likes, because he's Lincoln Riley, 1, and number 2, the transfer portal's always going to be there, and his last 3 quarterbacks, and I'm counting Jalen Hurts in this, have been transfer quarterbacks. So maybe you're just not necessarily pushing the urgent button on a 2020 QB recruit. And it seems like Bryce Young is falling in line with USC and plans to stick with USC, but we'll still wait and see on what that looks like. Again, I think you're going to get a 2020 quarterback. I don't necessarily think that guy's going to be the kind of caliber that, say, Spencer Rattler is, or even perhaps even a Tanner Mordecai is, because you know that you're so loaded at the QB room. If you're a quarterback and you're looking at that QB room, you're going, where and when am I going to play? Because I don't necessarily want to be the scout team quarterback for the next 3 years after being a really great high school quarterback. Otherwise, how do you get the offer from Oklahoma? Brock Vandagriff is out of Bogart Prince Avenue Christian in Georgia. And folks would tell you he's probably bending toward Georgia more than he is anything else. I would tend to believe that as well. Again, I think a lot of this is going to have to see what Jalen Hurts looks like, and then what the QB battle looks like for the year 2020, where I know a lot of y'all are already wanting to know who is going to be the quarterback. I honestly think that Tanner Mordecai is going to get beat by Spencer Rattler, but that's calling it before Spencer Rattler even gets on the campus. And I don't necessarily want to do that, but just looking at the facts on the ground, looking at how good Spencer Rattler was coming out of high school, looking at how good Tanner Mordecai was coming out of high school, looking at how simple it might be for Spencer to pick up the offense, yeah, the tools are going to be there. He has a rapport with this really talented wide receiving core. Matter of fact, I need to go through the wide receiving classes over the last 5 years, and you'll see what kind of just ridiculous bonkers thing it is for Oklahoma to have a great wide receiving class, and why putting together another one is so important. Because if I throw names at you like Micaiah Quick, like KJ Young, like Dannon Cavill, you're going to be like, yo, I forgot those dudes even went here. Yeah, a lot of people did. Just like people forgot about Derek Woods. See, there's another one. Just like people forgot about KJ Young. There's another one. I got asked all the time if I was related to KJ Young. That was really starting to get on my nerves. Because, just because we got the last names and I'm not even going to keep going there. You know what? Instead, what I'm going to do is going to go to my conversation with Patrick Masick and Dave Sittler about Oklahoma in the spring game, what you expect to see, what I wanted to see, and what we're going to be able to pull from a glorified scrimmage.
Right now we do it in spurts, which is a little bit to be expected, but if we want to grow into the team that we think we can be, then we've got a long way to go there.
Lincoln Riley talking spring ball after their most recent scrimmage. They'll have their spring drills coming up on a Saturday. Lots to take in with our OU insider, RJ. I'm all confused because I was not in yesterday. It is Tuesday. we do. I almost said Brandon Drum. It is Tuesday. We have R.J. Young with us. R.J., lots of excitement. I know you're going to be fired up to watch that defense on Saturday.
I'm going to be fired up to see almost anything, man. I mean, it's been like that for not just football, but what you get to see of this team and the way that the turnover has been with no Caleb Kelly, no Jordan Kelly, a new defensive coordinator, a new scheme, a new quarterback, no matter how much you believe in Tanner Mordecai or Jalen Hurts. I'm interested to see what all of that looks like. Now, it's going to be really vanilla, and I think you're kind of tongue-in-cheek with the spring drills there because, we're all going to watch a glorified scrimmage, and anybody that is even the little bit danged up is not going to play. But it's football, and I'm here for football. And it could be a lot worse. It could be TCU, where you don't have a spring game at all.
That has happened in places like TCU. RJ,
They find an excuse every year not to have a spring game.
RJ, I know.
Put him back in the Mountain West. Put him in the WAC. Put him in the American. Ooh.
I know we're anxious to see Caleb Kelly, how he do in this new system. So was I. Have you heard any timetable yet when he might be back?
Months, Dave. Months. I mean, look, anything that requires surgery, you can't expect the dude to be back in time for camp. You can't be September, October, it's out. Months. I mean, at present, I would expect Grinch to put together a defense thinking he doesn't have Jordan Kelly or Caleb Kelly or, for that matter, Jalen Redmond. I think, and that's okay. You have depth for those reasons. I mean, it's terrible for them, but if you got to put a defense on the field, you got to put a defense on the field. And also, this kind of clears the way for a guy that has got a lot of spring buzz, as much as you want to put into that, as Deshaun White. Now, the stock with Deshaun White this time last year, he's very excited about getting to campus. He redshirted for the most part. No, he played more than 4 games, actually. No, that dude, he might be a better linebacker than Kenneth Murray Jr., and no matter how you feel about Kenneth Murray Jr., he had 155 tackles last year. And last time I checked, that was still really, really good, even at a place like Oklahoma. And if you're talking about Deshaun White and the way that you might think he's a better linebacker than Kenneth Murray Jr., well, stick him next to Kenneth Murray Jr. and see what your defense looks like, especially with a scheme that looks a lot like, it's a 3-4, but it says it's a 4-2-5 when it's look, and they got 5 DBs on the field. Again, really interesting to see how much the linebackers are going to be responsible for and how much of that figures in for Deshaun White now that we know that Caleb Kelly's going to be out for an extended, at the very minimum, extended period of time.
Mm-hmm. No doubt, and again, sometimes it's hard to tell what's going on. Who's ahead of who, or you don't know what the matchups are. But obviously, for Oklahoma, all we've heard about from Alex Grinch is speed D. So you want to see guys flying around as much as they can to the football.
I think you would want to see that in any defense, honestly. But I think what you're going to see a lot more of is trying to strip the ball, and you can come down on both sides of that argument. Now, the way that it's been put to me is, hey, the first priority is to tackle the guy. The next guy coming in is going to try to strip the ball. Well, sometimes it takes more than one guy to tackle a person, depending on angles and whether or not their name is Hakeem Butler or L.J. Humphrey or Colin Johnson. You get where I'm going here. A lot of the guys that they faced last year, particularly at wide receiver, were bigger than the secondary. So you're going to take more than one of those dudes to put him down if that's the case, the way that it looked last year. Now, does that mean that you get more turnovers? Probably. Also means that you're going to have a lot more broken tackles. So I'm interested to see if that emphasis is shown through at the spring game as much as you can glean from that.
Talking with RJ Young of OUinsider.com. And RJ, I was just looking at your website. A very interesting headline. Adrian Peterson wanted to leave OU for the NFL as a freshman. Are you among the group that thinks he could have gone to the NFL out of high school?
No, I don't think anybody can go to the NFL out of high school, period. I mean, you can get drafted and you can go and somebody will play you, but it ain't going to go very well. I think the gap between professional football and college football is still very much there, because if it was not, we would look at more NFL rookies who would be MVPs and not NFL Rookie of the Years. Now, who was the best rookie player last year? Saquon Barkley, right? Is he an MVP? No, he's not. Is Baker Mayfield the best quarterback in the NFL? No, he's not. And I think he also benefited, like Saquon, from staying those 3-4 years to play college football. And I get that Adrian Peterson is ready-made from a physical standpoint, but just because you can go does not mean you should go. We're talking about Zion Williamson being 6'7", 285 pounds. I still don't know what position he plays in the NBA. Is he a 3? Well, that's where they're going to put him because he's 6'7". But is he a 2 or 3? I mean, there's things that need to be worked out here that you can work out in college football. And because only the top 2% go, And because there's so much emphasis on getting to the second contract, no, I'm not going to say Adrian Peterson should have gone to the NFL even if he wanted to go as a freshman.
Outside of the big concert, any other off-field stuff you're interested in? Going to be a ton of recruits there.
Yeah, well, if the weather stays, I'm really just going to be watching that attendance number because you're getting everything that you want from OU standpoint to happen to see what you're capable of doing with a spring game because you got Lincoln Riley going out telling everybody come out. You have a star-studded visitors list. You got a new defense that people want to see, and you got one of the best quarterbacks in the country that people want to see. It's all coming together for Oklahoma to have a historic spring game, and I want to see if that does happen. What exactly does that look like? I'm looking for the fallout. I'm looking for what fans have to say. I'm looking for the play on the field. I'm looking for what the TV options are. All of that is of a piece to me because it screams what the bigger picture is for college football's future is for me.
It sounds like R.J. Neville Gallimore's been having a good spring. What do you think how big is his upside?
His upside has been tremendous since he got to Oklahoma. That's a guy tailor-made for what they're doing the last 3 years, honestly, because his position doesn't necessarily change. He's got one job, right? It is to destroy the center of an offensive line. And we hear about it in spurts in practice like what Riley was saying in the clip. But we need him to put it together, and this is his last year to do that. He's the guy that we're talking about, like Caleb Kelly before the injury. You don't have any more options here, right? It's past time for you to be good. We're talking about Neville Gallimore and Caleb Kelly when they got to Oklahoma as guys that might have a decision to make in 3 years, and that certainly has not been the case. So, Big Canada needs to show what Canada is all about and go out there and rip off some heads. Now, also, what's scary is that defense is going to be as good as he is. So if he is an All-American caliber defensive tackle, that defense is going to be really good. If he's all over the map like he was the last couple of years, you're probably going to get all over the map, which is what you really would expect from a first-year defensive coordinator at Oklahoma after you're 129th in pass defense, 90th in total defense, and all-around bad at playing defense.
I'm guessing you were pulling for Texas Tech last night?
Nah, I was really pulling for a good game, and that's what I got. Okay. I was pulling for a good... this is the first time that I could actually say with a straight face that I was enjoying defense in basketball. It's a really difficult thing to pull off because the fouls are so easy to give, because guys make mistakes, because you have to be so precise in where you put your hands. I saw outstanding defense from both teams. I was really amazed at the shot block at the end of regulation, getting your hand on that, the way that guys were able to cut to the basket, the way that guys were actually staying with their man. That was what I was there for. I was excited to get into overtime. I saw Virginia pull away like everybody else, and I feel for Texas Tech, but we got a really good basketball game, a really good college basketball game, and that's a win for everybody involved.
Excellent as always, man. We'll talk Thursday.
All right, fellas, I appreciate you.